Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning and a happy Monday to you, Mountain family. My name is Amelia Lee here with you on this March 3rd, and the time is 6 o'clock, which means it's time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. And Megan, you just talked about having to need a winter coat out, and I know I'm sad. A lot of folks at home are sad since I have packed mine away.
Have you really?
I have. It's March.
Oh gosh. Well, unfortunately, I will say, Amelia, we have colder weather as we're heading into Thursday, which will be colder than we saw this past weekend. So maybe you might want to dig that back out. But in terms of today, you probably will need a winter coat this morning, but at least you won't need a raincoat because we're looking nice and dry, not even seeing a single cloud in our region. And for the most part, that's how our day will continue. Now, as I mentioned, you might need that jacket today because we're still looking quite cold in the teens and 20s. But as we head to the afternoon, well, maybe you can shed that coat, switch to a light jacket because we're looking in the 50s and upper 50s at that as you're traveling to some portions of our area. So overall, not too bad of a day. We'll see those temperatures getting into the high around that 3 o'clock hour to 4 o'clock hour. And then we'll see those temperatures staying warm overnight with even warmer weather tomorrow. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Megan. Well, the United States Secretary of Veterans Affairs made a stop in Hazard on Friday, speaking to veterans and staff at the Hazard VA Community Outpatient Clinic. I was there. The halls were lined with veterans and other folks at the VA Community Outpatient Clinic in Hazard on Friday. U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins, met with veterans and staff who were impacted by the recent flood.
Exactly what the president told me to do. When he first said, I want you to do the job, I said, Mr. President, what do you want? He said, take care of my veterans. That's why I'm here. Collins
also took the time to recognize staff members at the clinic who made notable contributions for the veterans they serve during the flood.
You got the workers here at the VA that are making a difference in the community. It's easy to come down here and just say, hey, thanks for what you're doing. This is the emphasis that I want. And what I've heard today is exactly what my emphasis is, veterans first.
Luke Rollins is a veteran from Knott County. He says the VA clinic in Hazard does so much good for the community, taking no breaks and making the folks they serve feel like a priority, even in times of crisis.
We have got a good clinic here, and these girls that work here, ladies, they are top of the line.
Veterans who met Collins say they were grateful to see someone from Washington, D.C. make it a priority to visit them right here in Appalachia.
I think that's a plus for this area, that somebody's recognized, that we are here.
With Collins saying it is necessary to make sure veterans are taken care of.
Washington, D.C., the media and everybody up here thinks that's the center of the world. It's pretty nice, but to me, places like this are really the heart of America.
With a mantra of veterans first. Veterans say they were excited to meet the new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. As many are still dealing with the impact of the recent flooding, some are thanking the heroes behind many of the rescues. Several rescue departments gathered to be recognized by First Lady Brittany Bashir on Friday. Kentucky Emergency Management's Doug Heregroves says when legislation created Kentucky's own urban search and rescue force 3 years ago, he hoped the collaboration of departments statewide would help hundreds. Now they've helped thousands.
Across the state, we had approximately 1,300 people that were rescued, either evacuated by boat or removed from harm's way.
First Lady Bashir also announced that this week will be Severe Weather Awareness Week. She and Governor Andy Bashir are encouraging Kentuckians to be prepared for any type of weather. We have watched countless communities working to recover, rebuild, and reclaim their sense of security since the flood poured through the region 2 weeks ago. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has a look at some of the hardest hit communities in Martin County, where people say they are just trying to get their lives back in order.
From the Warfield IGA to neighborhoods in the Huntleyville community.
It looked like a total war zone. There was debris and mud everywhere. It was just total destruction.
Martin County saw widespread damage during the recent flooding.
Feeling just like helpless.
Naomi Fletcher has lived in the Lovely community for 40 years, but she says she has never seen the water work its way through the way it did nearly 2 weeks ago.
It's just amazing what the floodwaters can do. Just standing and how dangerous it really is. You never know. You live beside of it your whole life, but you don't know how dangerous it really can get.
Barbie Ann Maynard says she was still recovering from a surgery and was trying to get her father, who has dementia and other health concerns, out of the home when they noticed the waters were rising.
And by the time I got him out, the water was up too far and I couldn't get out. So I spent the next 24 hours trapped in this house on the second floor.
She says she watched throughout the night with no electricity and a dead cell phone, hoping the water did not reach where she was.
I kept thinking about these movies of people running for air pockets in homes or with raising water, trying to get another breath. And in my mind, that was my worst fear.
Looking back, she says she was blessed. The water stopped one cinder block before reaching into the home.
This house was built actually one cinder block above the '77 flood.
Fletcher also considers herself lucky, saying many of her neighbors were hit much worse. And though she lost some items, her home was spared.
Watch all your memories just go, everything that you've worked for or everything that you've tried to hang on to goes.
Maynard says she doesn't know where she would be without the help of the community and what she calls her angel volunteers.
The supplies and the food is greatly appreciated, but nothing compares to the manpower.
While Fletcher and her family are just working to clean up what they can, trying to find the motivation to move forward.
We'll get it back together, you know. We'll work on it and just get back to normal.
In Martin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Appalachia Outreach in Martin County is working with area churches and organizations to provide resources and hands to help Martin County recover. Kentuckians are not the only ones helping flood victims. Some in other states are helping out as well. The Cosby Fire Department in Cosby, Tennessee is collecting supplies to deliver to folks in Martin and Pike counties. Volunteers will be taking the items to those areas this week. This includes baby formula, lighters, canned goods, and bottled water. A FEMA Disaster Recovery Center is now open right here in Perry County. The site is at Hazard Community and Technical College main campus. The center will operate from 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening, Monday through Saturday, and 1 until 7 on Sundays. FEMA officials say representatives will be able to explain available assistance programs, as well as how to apply to FEMA and help connect survivors with resources for their recovery needs. The deadline to apply for federal assistance is April 25th. Mingo County, West Virginia is working to recover from serious destruction after last month's flooding. The Williamson Fieldhouse has gathered tons of supplies to help flood victims. But unfortunately, as Alex Jackson discovered, some bad actors are also using these resources.
Since mid-February, the Williamson Fieldhouse in Mingo County has been packed, not with screaming fans or slam dunks, but supplies, serving as a hub of resources for people hit hardest by the mid-February floods.
We're holding it together and being strong for the people here in Mingo County and the region.
Jared Dean is the Williamson Parks and Recreation Director and has been a key force in leading the charge as the Fieldhouse has shifted from a sports venue to a resource hub. But with disaster comes foul players. And Dean says some people are way out of bounds, taking advantage of the free resources.
Folks that was coming in here for products, that was meant to go to their needs, we got word these folks were coming in and taking our products and taking them back to the store to get store credit.
Behavior that Dean says is worthy of a permanent ban from the facility, as it's the ultimate disrespect to those who are in true need of help.
I think it's a disgrace. I really do. I think it's a slap in the face to the victims of the flood. It's a slap in the face to my operations here and to the volunteers that are donating their time to come and help folks in need. And these folks think that it's necessary for them to come and I'll use the word cheat the system. And in my opinion, if we can catch those folks, I think that they should be prosecuted to the limit of the law.
Now, those with the Fieldhouse are taking extra precautions to ensure this doesn't happen again, marking down UPC codes on items and keeping contact with stores in the area so none of those returns can go through. Alex Jackson, WSAZ, Mingo County.
Now those with the Fieldhouse are taking extra precautions to ensure this doesn't happen again, marking down the UPC codes on items and keeping contact with stores in the area so none of these returns go through. Many Hazard High School students got muddy after the flood, helping folks clean up. On Friday, students were recognized by the school system for their work. Each student that willingly volunteered to clean up businesses and homes were given a community service award from the superintendent and treated to a special lunch.
We want them to know how impactful it really was. Community members literally were almost in tears talking about how grateful they were.
Students say they weren't expecting anything like this, but it feels good to be thanked and appreciated. About 100 students volunteered. The week school was canceled because of the weather.
We're going to start off cold today, but thankfully, as we're heading into the afternoon, we'll see those temperatures warm up, and this trend will continue into Tuesday. Here's a look at those current temperatures. And as you can see, it's a little chilly. You're going to need that winter coat this morning, seeing 18 degrees for Clintwood and Jonesville, 17 in Irvin. Now we're looking a little bit warmer as you're traveling towards Monticello, but 27 degrees is still quite the cold start for the day. Here's a look at those forecast highs this afternoon, mostly in the mid-50s, seeing low 50s for Wise and Clintwood at 50 degrees and upper 50s for Monticello, Williamsburg, Middlesboro, and Jacksboro at 57. That's a trend we'll continue on as we're heading into tomorrow. But for today, nice and sunny skies alongside these warm temperatures. Not going to be too bad of a day. Starting to see some rain into our forecast tomorrow overnight. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. South Carolina is in a state of emergency as wildfires continue to rage throughout the area.